John Kramer lectured in psychology at Queen's University Belfast for over 30 years and has played an active role in applied sport and exercise psychology throughout that time. John has worked with national and international teams and athletes from over 50 sports and continues to publish widely, including his most recent best-selling book, Pure Sport.
As we move closer and closer to race day, now is the time to start to think about your actual preparation for the race itself. Physically, you should be moving towards race shape, and mentally, just the same. By now, the head and body should be working together as one to maximise your efficiency as a runner. Sadly, if you leave all this to chance, the chances are your body can work not for you or against you, because of the head, and let me explain why. From our earliest days on Earth, we humans, as with other animals, were hardwired to deal with trouble. In the simplest terms, when we think that we will have to meet a threat or challenge, then our body gets ready for action. All the so-called stress symptoms at core are nothing more than ways in which our body readies for action by becoming more efficient. This includes a whole set of physiological changes, including increased pulse rate, adrenaline, widening of blood vessels, and heightened but narrowed attentional style. The difficulty is that these changes are designed to deal with immediate threat, like the bear in the cave, but they aren't sustainable over long periods of time, and instead they then quickly drain the body's energy reserves. In explosive sports such as powerlifting, or perhaps sprinting, where you want immediate effects, then these effects can be actively encouraged. But in marathon running, they aren't likely to sustain you for long periods of time. So instead you should want to find ways of controlling this natural response in order to conserve energy. As the big day approaches, you may find yourself becoming increasingly twitchy, even irritable. And these are the warning signs you should look out for, telling you that your body is getting ready for action, but not necessarily in a positive or helpful way. Wasting energy now isn't going to be sensible, so it may be worthwhile thinking of a few simple techniques to help manage or control your stress level. First of all, it's important to recognise that we all work best at very different stress levels. Some people perform best almost as stress-free zones. Others seem to thrive on the buzz of competition. So before going any further, try to think of the stress level along a stressometer from a score of 0 to 100, where 0 is comatose and 100 is wired to the moon. And now think of your best and your worst running performances, and use those to come up with a number on the stressometer that seems about right for you. This isn't necessarily where you feel most comfortable, but it's where you run at your best. With this number as your starting point, now you want to look at the ways of managing or controlling your stress level so it stays close to this optimal during the build-up to the race. Do remember, stress is something that you can control. To show what I mean, why not practice manipulating your pulse rate, which is a very useful index of stress. Pick up your resting pulse. You can do this either on your wrist or your neck. And now close your eyes. Once you're used to the rhythm of your resting pulse, bring to mind something that's really worrying you just at the moment. And using all your powers of imagination, focus in on that source of anxiety. You should start to feel your pulse rate rising, and now replace that negative image with one of somewhere special in the world, maybe at home, maybe somewhere on holiday, where you're alone and where you feel incredibly relaxed. Again, using all your powers of imagination, put yourself in that special place, the sights, the sounds, even the smells, and as you move there, you should start to detect your heart rate slowing down. Really, it's as simple as that. If you couple that sort of technique with slow, deep breathing, you're now starting to take control of your stress level. And you're then using techniques to stay within your own zone, or IZOF as it's sometimes known. With this in mind, during training runs, or maybe even during the race itself, why not choose a collection of songs that help you stay within your zone? One temptation when we're feeling psyched or stressed is to choose music that reflects that agitated mood state. So we'll go for things with a fast beat, and this makes things worse rather than better. So instead, deliberately choose music, or a breathing rhythm or a mantra that keeps you at the right pitch, at the right stress temperature. Not overcooked, not overdone, but just right. So remember, in the days leading up to the race, there's no need to burn energy unnecessarily. For example, by thinking too much about the race ahead. Instead, be selective. Distract yourself with other things if that helps you. You want to conserve all your energy for the challenge ahead. So keep monitoring and controlling. Another simple exercise you could try is a breathing technique known as centering. Maybe try this now. Stand up, put your feet about shoulder width apart. Now bend your knees ever so slightly. Close your eyes and deliberately slouch over. In that position, now take a big, deep breath, but try not to breathe into your upper body. Instead, breathe deep into your stomach, and then breathe out slowly through your mouth. And as you exhale, you should feel this warm tingle as tension is released from your body. Again, this is the sort of thing you can practice, and it can be useful right up to the starting gun. In other words, you're looking for cool running. Along with these physical techniques, and keeping your IZOF in mind, recognise that a certain level of stress is not necessarily a bad thing. But then there are good nerves and there are bad nerves. As I mentioned earlier, we're hardwired to respond to the perception of danger or challenge. But this can be in one of two ways. We either see positive signs that we are now fit for the challenge ahead, or we run scared. In other words, the fight or flight response. The trick, yet again, is to keep things positive and under your control. Good nerves can be an acknowledgement of what your body is ready for and the level of stress that you need to maximise performance. Bad stress is where you run scared and out of control. Good nerves can be where you may be excited, but still aware of what's going on around you, and you have a sense of control over your emotional state. This is what will provide you with the mental strength to carry you over the next few hours, with your energies conserved for running and for nothing else. After all, isn't that why you're doing this?